Welcome back. You know, when we're shopping and you buy something or you buy something for someone and it doesn't quite work out, you want to know if you're able to take it back. Well, there are a lot of rules with that, and here to help so that we don't get surprises is Joy Matthews. And Joy is an investigator with the Office of Consumer Protection. And Joy, thanks for taking the time to come on over.
Thanks for having me here.
We've known each other for years. I know you do a lot of other things. You and I were talking, let's pick one topic and then we'll move through a number of things. But I think a lot of people are still surprised. If I buy something at a store and it doesn't work out and I want to take it back, are there any rules or regulations? I mean, sometimes you wind up getting a store credit, sometimes you're looking to have your card recharged and it's not. What's going on?
True. In the state of Maryland, there actually is not a law that requires the retailer to accept the return of goods. What the law says, the Maryland refund policy of retailers, is that if you have a refund policy, you must post it, and it must be posted either visible by a sign, on the receipt, or on the product. So basically, they have to state it if they have a policy.
So it's not. So a company, if a return policy is not a guarantee.
That's correct.
That's the first time I've heard that. This is just, if a company wishes to do that, they can.
That's correct.
And they are required to post it where?
They're required again to post it visible on the sign. Usually it's near the cash register.
Right.
When you first come in, customer service area,
Right.
on the product itself, or on the receipt.
Which I think a lot of times now with these sort of electronic receipts, that's where I've seen it.
Exactly.
And you have to take the receipt back. Another thing is to take the receipt with you, because there's no proof of purchase.
There's no proof of purchase, and there's no guarantee that the retailer will accept the merchandise back without the receipt.
Correct.
And it varies from store to store. And the one thing to go back on the refund policy, it's also going to vary the kind of policy from store to store. For example, a smaller specialty store may have a limited policy as opposed to a larger retailer, which would maybe a longer time period that you can return the merchandise. And also, the merchandise may be returned for store credit only.
Correct.
Or it could be for the exchange of the product, not a cash refund.
And I know with online shopping, a lot of times there can be a restocking fee. So I assume you could do that at a local store as well. They could have that in the policy.
That's correct. And usually you'll see the restocking fee for larger purchases such as electronics,
television or something like that.
Things like that, exactly. And what that restocking fee basically is the fee that the retailer incurs for having to accept that product back, and shipping costs and things of that nature.
Uh-huh. And I assume that the time frame is again store dependent. So I can't keep something for 2 months and then come back and do something.
Exactly.
And again, that would probably be on the receipt. Would probably be best.
That is on the receipt. It should be on the receipt. And
Right.
yes, the time frame is limited, and it varies again from store to store.
So you need to be, if you're concerned about that, you need to be dealing with that at the time of the purchase, not afterwards calling Joy on the phone and saying, "What am I doing here?"
True.
Right?
True. And the other thing is, if you don't see a policy in the store, you want to be sure to ask about the policy. Don't assume.
Correct.
Obviously we say if there's no policy, then it's a liberal kind of policy. But you want to do that before and do your research and ask questions before you make that purchase.
Particularly I think with larger purchases, you'd want to do that. Now I know in the past there was this 3-day cooling off rule that people would quote, and is that still going on?
Well, the 3-day cooling off period, and that is a
You want to tell people what that
gets
is?
confused. It has to do with door-to-door sales contracts. If someone comes to your home and they sign a contract, and it's usually if you're getting a door installed or something of that nature, those home improvement kind of services.
Right.
So you want to be sure that you read that contract, and you have that 72-hour, that time period to decide if you want to terminate the contract. Only for door-to-door sales contract in the state of Maryland.
Nothing to do with
Does
stores.
not apply.
Not to do with cars.
Not to do with cars.
Okay.
No.
All right. Because I think you're right. I think there's sometimes some confusion about that.
Yes, and we get a lot of phone calls in reference to that.
Really?
Yes, we do.
Well, you know what? You guys have a lot of information that's on the website. So why don't we stop right here? Is there the web address for you guys is montgomerycountymd.gov/consumer,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
And then a lot of your pamphlets, I mean, you've taken the time to answer a lot of people's questions in advance. But maybe the lesson from this interview would be, do your homework before you buy something or before you sign something. I mean, it's true,
That's
right?
correct.
People
That's
can call
right.
you in advance.
Yes, and we encourage that, absolutely, to give us a call before you make that major purchase, or just any information that you feel that you need to know, you're not sure about, to give us a call so that we can certainly discuss it with you and try to give you the best advice as possible.
Does that include with a company? Let's say I want to do a home improvement, a particular company has given me a quote, I want to know about them. Can I call you?
You can. You can find out their complaint record, how many complaints we have on record. And if you want to find out more information about the particular company, you can come into our office to review the complaints that we may have on file.
And how they've been resolved. You can't
Yes.
give recommendations.
No, we cannot.
Right, I know.
No, we
You guys have
cannot.
been very clear about that, and I'm
That's
sure
right.
you get calls all the time. This is a
Yes.
good company.
Yes.
But you are able to show them whatever the facts are about
Yes.
that particular company.
Yes. Yes.
And you're one of the few, I think, focused departments, offices just on consumer protection. I mean, you guys really are a gold mine. Being a county employee, I know to call you guys, before a move. If I wanted to look at some quotes with movers, I've been able to do that, and I think it's been a great service. More people need to do that before
Yes.
instead of calling you after.
That's correct.
Is there, and the main number, is it 240-777
3636.
3636?
Yes.
So they can also call on the phone or
Yes.
go to that website.
Absolutely.
All right, now you do other things. Give me some advice about other things that you're up to your eyeballs with.
Well, I deal with retailer complaints, as we talked about, furniture complaints, dry cleaning complaints as well,
Oh,
automotive issues as well. So
Dry cleaning's a tough one because,
it's very tough.
you send your tie
Yes.
and there's an accident, and then
Right.
what's the recourse?
Well, the most you can hope that the cleaners will reimburse you for the cost of the cleaning
Right.
or some kind of damage cost associated. And you
Right.
really need to have a receipt to
Right.
show that you purchased. And lots of times consumers don't keep their receipts because they've had it maybe for a
Right.
while, but in some cases they have just recently purchased it,
Right.
and they'll have the receipts, and the cleaners will in fact consider
Well,
reimbursement.
I've learned too just to do a quick check of my stuff when I get it home.
Yes.
It's probably the best advice.
Right.
Well, you and I burned through 8 minutes with no problem whatsoever. Will you come back? Will you come back again? We didn't
Absolutely.
talk about furniture. We didn't talk about the automotive. Will we do that?
Yes.
All
I'd
right.
love to.
Joy, thank you very much for
Thank you
being
for
on.
having me.
And thank you for watching here at the Hollywood Diner in Rockville. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.